Hello, 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 hello. Major problems with audio. I just don't get it. I don't know. I can't really figure out. It's not my hardware, I know that. But anyway, I think it's personally, I think it's Twitch because I don't have any problems with any audio on anything else with microphones. So I apologize in advance because I'm having to use the microphone out of the webcam, and I don't think that is particularly good. But anyway, welcome. This is to do with a house, but unfortunately it's not the Victorian house, because I'm kind of excited to share something, and it's to do with Blender and it's to do with Second Life, but there's also I'll tell you a little story anyway as we go along. I'm good at telling stories. If anything else, you come here for the stories. But anyway, so this is, if anyone has tried building a house in Blender, which I've done a lot of, it's the more you do it, the easier it gets. But you're kind of always looking for ways to speed the process up, okay? And you know, there are tools that you can get for Second Life, for Blender, architect tools, which are, you know, you can build walls and rooms and all that kind of thing, but it's not brilliant really, and it's very buggy. I tried using it before, and it wasn't really very good at all. I couldn't get on with it anyway. Let's put it that way. So I will tell you a little story as to why I'm not sponsored by these people. In fact, I was a user of theirs for 20 years probably. I'll tell you a little bit about them in a minute. But okay, so what I'm going to do, this is what we're going to achieve. Okay, now this is not completed. I literally did it as a test because I thought I would just mess around. Literally, I was just messing around with this application that I'm going to be talking about. And I thought, you know what, I used to use this program a long time ago. I stopped using all the products from this company because they moved over to a new system, and it just, you know, when you, I'll get my words out in a minute, but when you're a faithful customer of a company, I know there's no loyalty and stuff anymore, but when you're loyal to a company that I used to, every single year they brought out a new version of a whole range of their products, I used to buy them. There was, I think, only one product that I didn't buy of theirs, and you know, I spent a lot of money over the years with them. I always got the licensing, I always bought the manuals, you know, anything that they brought out I thought was fantastic. It was good, it got the job done, I used it all the time. In fact, I still use some of their products even now that they're not supported anymore, and you can actually download them for free. Okay, because, you know, the company obviously just don't support it, so, you know, it was good, but you couldn't do what I'm going to show tonight. You could not do it. It was just, I tried everything. I tried everything to try and in fact, actually, I don't think. No, you couldn't. You just couldn't do it, because I tried it out actually recently, about 2 weeks ago, and I thought, you know what? Maybe there's something I'm doing wrong. And of course, there was another program, and I'll start naming names and things like that in a minute. But yeah, so it was quite a bit of a journey, and it has been ever since I've been using Blender, in order to build something like this in Second Life. You kind of have to start from scratch with Blender. And you know, I've seen all sorts of things, people, you know, bringing plans in and doing all sorts of stuff, you know, and it was a kind of a workaround, and I guess in a way what I'm going to be demonstrating is also a bit of a workaround, but it's the speed with which you can do it. In Blender, it's a pretty slow process, but in this app that I actually bought and registered yesterday, mainly because I saw another Twitch user using the application for their game development, and I thought, wow, if they're using it for their game development, it's got to be good then, you know. And so I thought, well, you know, it's been about 5-6 years since I stopped buying anything from that. Well, the company doesn't, you know, it's gone. But I thought, well, maybe things have changed, and I thought, well, you know, there's a good recommendation. If a game developer is using their apps for doing their game development, and they weren't just using Blender, they use Blender for some stuff, and they use some of the real big boy commercial stuff, you know, as well. So, you know, this is not a small user. This is a full-time game developer who was also doing his own personal stuff as well, and has done for quite a long time. So I thought, I'm going to go and have a look, and lo and behold, they've got a special on at the moment. As I say, I'm not affiliated with them. I like recommending software, or anything that I recommend, when I've done reviews of anything, software, hardware, whatever it is. I've been doing it for like a long time, you know, on the photography side and the audio side, and even hardware. I mean, one of my most popular videos was a toolbox that I was reviewing. I mean, you know, it's crazy, but there you go. You don't complain if you get tens of thousands of views on it. So yeah, going back to this, so you've got alternatives in Second Life. You can either buy a pre-made house, which, you know, is fine probably for most things, but very often you want to design it for yourself, especially if you've got your own land and whatever, and you want to live in something that you've made yourself. There's always that satisfaction. So and then of course you can try and build it out of Prim in Second Life, which, you know, you've seen me doing this before, but I mean, you know, you're gonna start off with one of these. You know, here we go, here's your building blocks, and then you've got to shape it and size it and move it, and you know, it's back in the old days. That was fine because that was all you had. Now we use mesh, and I still see lots of builders still building stuff out of Prim. There's not a problem with that, but you know, it has its limitations. And so if you can imagine, you know, designing all these walls with things like this, you know, like little bits in there, you know, you can't necessarily do that so well using Prim. You know, to do that would take quite a while. And then you've got to do the materials and texturing and all that kind of stuff. So that's the other way of doing it, but you don't see an awful lot of that now, to be honest with you. The easiest and fastest way of building a house really is to do it in Blender. And so this is what I did. This is what I did in Blender. I'm going to demo it. Don't worry. I'm going to demo it. It's not a problem. I'm actually using all three of my screens at the moment, so I apologize if I don't see anyone commenting straight away, because I need 4 screens. Let me move this one. Maybe I can move this one over here. The other thing I've got to keep an eye on is my audio, because there is a real serious problem with something somewhere to do with the audio. I can't figure it out, but anyway. So we have Blender, and of course you can be in Blender, like I said, you know, build it out of mesh and do all of those things are all possible. You know, it's not a problem at all. But to design a house like this, this is all one mesh. This is all one mesh. There are no separate walls, partitions. The only thing I had to do was correct an issue on this this side here, which was a minor thing, but hopefully we won't get any problems like that because I've been practicing. But yeah, this is all one mesh. Okay, yes, it hasn't got any windows in it, but I'm not kidding. The program that I did the template for this in didn't take me an awful long time. I brought it into Blender. It comes in as curves. It's using a file type called SVG, Scalable Vector Graphics, and it comes in as curves. So all you have to do is to convert it to mesh, and it's mesh. you then do what you like with it. And I literally did that and then exported it out as a DAE file for Second Life, and you saw what I did in Second Life. I mean, it was that simple. That whole building ended up being 6 prim, 6 land impact, which is pretty much nothing for a building that size. So it's certainly the fastest I have ever been able to build a structure, albeit fairly simple, but at the same time quite comprehensive and also very, very accurate, quickly, really quickly. I think from start to finish, I would say I had this probably built in 20 minutes. So from doing what I'm going to show you, bringing it into Blender, you know, literally if I took out all the bits because I was just so fascinated that it worked for a start, and you know, played around with it and then brought it into Second Life, I would say maximum, you know, it's somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. Certainly no longer than 30 minutes. And that was the first time I did it as well. Like, I've been able to practice this afternoon. And there's something else I want to actually show you that I did as well, which I don't know, because no one's there's a feedback thing on my channel, and I'd really appreciate it if people provided some feedback. Anything really. Tell me I'm crap, tell me stop to making videos or whatever. I mean, you know, I work on projects relatively haphazardly unless it's a commission and I have a deadline, at which point I will plow my way through something and it will be done. So if I was to stream any of that, you would see video after video after video and you'd see the end. But I like to have a bit of variety in what I'm doing, and so, you know, this just kind of, in a way, blew my mind as to how easy it was. Okay, and I'll explain that once we start using the program. Maybe other people have found a very, very easy way of doing it. I don't really know. I've not seen any, you know, if there is, I've not seen anything on YouTube. I've seen no tutorials about how easy it is. In fact, actually, the people that do the software have got Discord, and I posted this up onto their Discord today, and they didn't know. And also people who know about who know about Blender but use other programs, and also use the program that I've just, you know, I'm going to be sort of showing you how to use it. They also didn't know that you could do this. So I was like, hello. I just put up a post basically saying, you know, I did this today and I was blown away at how quick I could do it. And so, you know, anyway, you may or may not find it interesting. I will stop waffling and let me see if we've got anybody. I am going to check questions, etc., etc., but I do need to keep an eye on my audio. Okay. Audio from the webcam seems to be working. Audio from my computer doesn't seem to be working, so I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to have that open. So, right. So the program that I'm using is this particular program here. It's. Let me tell you a story, a little bit of a story. Okay. If you need to go to sleep, then please listen to the story, and by the end of it, you'll be asleep. But anyway, this is a piece of software called Affinity. It's designed by Affinity, and it's Affinity Designer. Now, I have been using, you may or may not know what this piece of software is, but they used to be called Serif. S-E-R-I-F. Serif. And I used everything of theirs. And I mean everything. I mean, the only thing that I didn't really use of theirs, because it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't really up to the standard when I was a photographer for doing professional stuff, and that was their photo editing software. And I still won't use their photo editing software because I think, well, maybe under Affinity it's better. I don't know, but I'm not going to, because I now use a different brand. I don't use the big Adobe software. I use Corel, and again, I've been using Corel from the very, very early days. So you know. But anyway, the story is I used to use all of their software. I was using all of their software when most of their desktop publishing, the Serif Draw Plus, which was the designer, they had various other bits and pieces. They had a web developer program as well, Web Plus. Everything had plus on the end, so it was Page Plus, Draw Plus, Web Plus, Photo Plus. And then they had a few other bits and pieces. And some of them were, you know, some of the other bits and pieces of software were really, really good. I think it was 2014 or 2015 or something like that. They decided that they were not going to they weren't going to release any more of the current pieces of software, and they were then going to go over and move over to Affinity. I don't know whether they're still called Serif. I don't think they are. I think they just called no, it's just called Affinity. They're using Pantone. Yeah, there's no noticeable links, I don't think, anymore with Serif. So anyway, so that was fine. But what they didn't seem to be doing was they weren't encouraging people who had been registered with them for, 15, 20 years or whatever and been buying their software religiously. I've still got all the software and the manuals and everything, I think, from even the really early versions. And there didn't seem to be, it was like, oh, well, we're producing this new software and we're now not doing the old software, the old Serif software. And that was it. And all they kept pushing was the new software. So there wasn't even a kind of an upgrade path, And I kept saying, well, surely, don't you want us to move over to Affinity? And they just seemed to assume that that everyone was just going to go and buy their new version 1 of software. And I thought, no, that's just not going to happen. So anyway, they still didn't provide any form of upgrade path, which I thought would have been, a smart thing to do. What better to sort of, give a real good discount on moving over to their new software, but they didn't anyway. So no love lost. I continue to keep using their software, which I still do, and I will have to keep using because I've got a vast amount of projects and client work and such like that I've done using Page Plus and Draw Plus. The other software I don't really use anymore. The Web Plus went out the window when WordPress got their act together and started producing website templates and all the plugins and everything. That kind of went by the by. But yeah. So I didn't, I just continued using the Serif software. It works fine. Which I later found out fairly recently that they now provide all of their software for free. You have to register in order to get the serial numbers, but you get all the serial numbers, and it's absolute legitimate and free. So anyway, I was watching, one of the people I follow, I can't, Cluthade, I can't remember now. I want to give him credit actually, because he was using the photo software, okay? Now I'm not a great fan of their photo software. In my opinion, it's clunky. I can't speak for the Affinity stuff, and I won't buy it anyway because I know I won't use it. I will use PaintShop Pro. What is his name? Channel name? Yeah, Cluaid. 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 I think he's based in Australia. And so anyway, I watched him doing that, and I thought, that's really, really good. If he's using it for his, game development, it's got to be fairly good, yeah, my audio is still going. Okay, so I thought, okay, I might go and have a look. I wasn't going to go and look at the photo software. I'm really only interested in the designer software. Hey presto, I go onto the website and they've got a deal on at the moment, 50% off. And I thought, wow, English money, that's 24 quid. I don't know what that is in dollars. It's got to be, $30 or something. You can't go wrong for that. And I've seen an awful lot of people using the Affinity Designer. So, and I know now that they've also got not only the photo software designer, but they've also got the desktop publishing, which again I probably won't use because Page Plus does everything I really need it to do. So I thought, well, for that kind of money, can't go wrong. If it's no good, I may or may not use it. I'll probably really slowly convert everything from my Serif onto this anyway. I mean, but I'm not kidding. From literally downloading it and installing it, I've just non-stop used it. It is friggin' amazing. It really is blown my mind. Now I know when it first came out it had lots of bugs and people weren't really very happy with it and all the rest of it, but they're now up to version what are they up to? They're up to 1.8.5.7, so they've obviously had time to figure out but the thing that I was amazed at right off the bat was the speed of it. Yeah, the speed with which you can draw vector graphic, paintbrush and all of those kind of thing is just mind-blowing. It really is mind-blowing. So anyway, of course, one of the first things I'm doing, I used it today to finish off a video for Denver Max, which she's really happy with. So I was able to do something like, she colors her hair in various different colors, and I was able to sample her hair colors really, really easily. And I was just blown away with how easy it was to produce a palette. I mean, these are all things that you want to do really, really fast. You don't really want to be faffing around, with stuff. So anyway, after that, finished that video, which she seems to be, very happy with. I thought, you know what, let's see if it links with Blender. And so I brought in the house design that you saw on Second Life. The other thing I love about this, it's intuitive. It's very, very intuitive. Interface is just excellent. The speed is amazing. So what I did was I downloaded a very, very simple house design and thought, right, I'm going to see whether I can get this to work with Blender, because I need an SVG file that Blender will recognize. The previous versions, and there's only one other program, even I'm not so sure even Adobe does it really very well, but producing an SVG file for Blender is very specific. The only program that I can use that does that is Inkscape, and I hate that program. I really do hate it. It's not an intuitive interface. It's a very clunky program. I just don't like it. I don't like it. It needs an awful lot more development. It needs, in my opinion. But anyway, I know a lot of people use it, and they get along with it and everything, and I just can't. I just can't, I'm afraid. But anyway, so I thought, let's see if I can do this, and hey presto, boom. Very, very quickly I was able to produce an SVG file that went straight in, and I tried several things to do it, and it just worked. It just worked straight away. It took me a couple of goes to try and get the right SVG, because they've obviously realized that you need SVG for things like CAD programs and such like, because there are so many options when you go to save the file as an SVG file. But anyway, I will go through that. But I've now got the magic beans. So the process is, I've already designed this. I've already done this house as well anyway. So I tried a couple of methods, and I will go over them. So we're going to do this. This is a different plan. The plan that I had, just messing around, was really badly designed. I mean, I don't know who on earth did it, but it was just awful. And as you can see, this particular one is pretty low res. I mean, it really is the whole house. So ground floor, first floor, and then elevation views. So basically the process is this. Can't seem to get something that's just in between the zoom. But anyway, you do need to kind of zoom in a little bit. But okay, so what I'm going to do is, apart from the doors, windows are going to have I'll show you. It'll be using the rectangle tool for most of this. So I'm wondering, do I show you what I've already done, and then I'll show you? Yeah, okay. Maybe I should do that. Okay, because I've already saved this. Yeah. So let me just show you. This is the ground floor. So this is what I've already done. Okay. So the grey box is the red. So these are all done on layers. So the bottom layer is the map of the house, the plans, and then I just put ground floor, first floor, and then I tried a different thing which I'll show you, and then I'm using the top layer basically to show you how I do it. But yeah, I mean, this is basically it. So I made the red walls and everything on the inside, and there's a couple of things that you need to do in order to get this whole thing to work. But and the grey boxes are where the windows are, and I'll kind of explain why I did that as well. But so there's two wall thicknesses. You've got the outside wall, and then you've got the inside walls, and that's basically it. And at the moment, one of these things is just a rectangular box. Okay, so it's just multiple boxes all the way around. Boom, boom, boom. You can see them all there. It's just like a whole, on that layer, there's just a whole load of different types of rectangles. Okay, right. So what I do is, let's turn the opacity down of this particular layer. There's nothing on this layer at the moment. I'm going to select red again for the walls and grey for the windows. So the process is this. I'm going to just show you the process. Okay, so I'm on my layer. I've lowered the opacity of that layer down, so we can kind of see what's going on. Now you need snapping enabled. All these tools are all up here, but snapping is actually really, really good. Now you could actually go as far as to put an overlay of a grid on, which would probably help as well, but I found this worked flawlessly. It just worked. I've also locked the, so I can't edit layers from one layer. You've got options to edit from all the layers down. So if you click on an object on a different layer, you can highlight it. I've switched that off because I don't like doing that. This layer is the only one that I'm editing. The image layer underneath is locked, so I can't actually accidentally move it around. So basically the process is this. Okay, I've highlighted the rectangle tool. I've made it filled it with red, and there's no line. Okay, so all I'm going to do, you kind of need to make sure that you kind of get the walls pretty much the same. So I'm going to start off, let's start off at this wall. So I am going to draw a rectangle. Ooh, why is there, okay, I thought I'd switch that off. So we want the style, no, we don't want that. We don't want stroke. Okay, that's switched off now, isn't it? Yeah. Right, so we just want the square. So make sure that you get at least the first part, you know, the width of the wall, okay? And then you're going to move this. Now, because I've got snapping on, it kind of snaps to within, I think I've got it going within 3 pixels. So, you know, it's accurate to within 3 pixels that it snaps to things, which is, you know, the finest it can go. So we're going to make sure that we've got that right up there. The first one's kind of always crucial. So what now is, all I can do now, really, we've done the first wall. I'm going to copy that. I'm now going to bring that shift. Oh, no. Go back. I didn't paste it, did I? And this is another thing that I noticed, actually, because I'm going to keep comparing this to the previous versions that I used to use, and it used to really irritate the hell out of me. When you used to copy and paste an object in Page Draw Plus, it would always, you'd copy it fine, pasting, it would always put it on the top, but slightly at a you know, at an angle, and it used to really irritate me because I didn't want it to keep doing that. I wanted it to do it on the top. Hey presto, they've obviously listened somewhere along the line and have now got this. So we're now assuming that the outside wall is that thickness. Okay, so all I am going to do now is shift. Okay, you can see the lines in between there. So, you know, line up the lines in the center or the sides, and then resize it that way. Okay, so we want that. Now, what was the size of that wall? That was 10 mil. So we need to make sure. Yeah. Make sure that that's on there. That's fine. So I'm going to take that, Control CV. I'm now going to drag that over here. Well, actually, what I need to do here. See the guidelines, so that you kind of make sure that you've actually got that really lined up. Okay, now that's a window that's under there, so I'm not really bothered about that. I'm going to bring that to the edge there. And now I'm going to duplicate that again. I can probably just go V. I'm going to turn that using shift. I'm pressing shift, rotating, so that it kind of fixes itself at certain, but you know then you're getting it rotated at exactly 90 degrees. What you need to do is make sure that because it's snapping to that, you're going to bring that down there, and you can see how these little end things turn green. They turn green when it's matched, that's fine. So it kind of snaps to the end of there. So now we've got horizontal and a vertical piece there. So now we can just take that CV, and I love the fact that it actually puts it directly right over the top. So now I can take this and drag it there, and it snaps into place on that. Now I'm going to bring that right down, and it's going to snap to there. That's fine. I can V that, paste that again, because I'm going to use that on the opposite side. Now I want that to be aligned. When you hold, I don't know whether you can see this on the screen, hovering this object over the wall, the bit of wall just done, you get these green lines. I can now press shift and move that up. Come on. Ah, no, it went back. Right, okay, but it will if I move this in. There you go. It's now lined up because it's green. I love this program. I really, really love this program. Now, I know that the wall, to move around the page, it's spacebar, and I'm using a tablet, so it's just the spacebar. Now I know this wall and this wall are lined up, and the drawing is not good. So if I move this there, I'm now good. It's possible that that object underneath has not really lined up right. Oh no, it has. Okay. That is fine. So now I just bring this down here. Okay, that's fine. Let's grab that CV window, so I know that that is going to be my edge, and again it just snaps to the object. Wall is going to go over there. And I can use the arrow keys to move it pixel by pixel until it's exactly in place. There we go. Got 3 dots. Let's bring over another piece. CV. There, and then I know that it will line up correctly with that. Because that's a doorway into the conservatory, and then I want that to go to the edge of that wall. That's perfect. I can now go CV. See how easy this is? Now, there is another method to this, and people are probably already going, oh yeah, what you should be using is the pen, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Let's just do this very simply. You can see how easy this is. Bring that one over there. That's going to snap to the edge and get the guideline. You see I've got this bit here and this bit here are now lined up correctly. Let me bring that down here. We're going to get that to the edge. That's fine. Now you've got this, I think this is a fireplace, I think. There, chimney, maybe. So, I don't know, CV. Again, all we need to really do is just make sure that they are overlapping. I love the snapping. The snapping is awesome. Let's grab that, CV. And again, I could probably make a bigger bit. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. This is a window. Right, so bring that down, lined up correctly. We bring that over there. Alright. CV. Now I can highlight that one, press shift and slide it over, and it will be accurate because it will line up to the centers. You can, I don't know whether you can see the guidelines there, but you get these guides in between. It's just awesome. So we know that that is square. That's correct. So I'm not going to do that because I've already done all this. I'm just going to go around, and I'm not going to do the inside walls either, but you get the general idea, you know. So what we've ended up with is this surround, which is made up of all of these objects, these rectangles here. The only thing we need to do, once you've finished everything, basically the walls and all the external and internal walls, excluding the blocks that I put in for the windows. I mean, this is just how I work, because I'm kind of thinking ahead. You know, what do I want to make this really, really easy when I get into Blender. So I've highlighted all those objects. Okay, I don't know how many there are there. Does it say 13 objects? Okay, so there's little rectangles that we've done. That's all we need to do. Now, this, like Serif Page Plus, used to have, you can merge you can merge all these objects together so that they all become one, and it kind of flattens all of those objects into one object, and that's exactly what you want. And there could be a reason why you don't want that, which I'll explain in a minute, but anyway. So we flatten that whole thing, and there we go. We've got one curve object out of all of those 13. Fantastic. So quick. So quick. So that's the process of just basically drawing round, and I just use a rectangle and copy and paste and copy and paste and copy and paste, and it just all snaps and lines up, and you know, you're building walls basically. So let me hide that and go back to the first floor. Sorry, ground floor. Right. So here I have what I did earlier. I haven't flattened all of these objects. In fact, there are considerably more. You say, oh no, I'm still on the wrong So what I need to do is highlight this lot. I was on the wrong layer. Right, I'm trying to select objects on the layer that is now hidden, which is bizarre. There, which is 45 objects, because I've did all the walls and these other window objects that I've got around here. Now, the way that you get this into Blender, and I'm slowing this down so that people can follow along, I need to squash all of the walls, not the windows, into one object. So I'm going to unhighlight all of the window objects, and that will become apparent why I'm doing that. So now I am just left with the walls. Okay, I want that to be one object, unless I want it to be one object, but in this particular instance I don't know why you would want it to be one object. But anyway, you get the gist. I'm going to squash that lot, flatten it all into one thing. There we go, it's done it. I'm now going to select my windows. And these aren't the windows, they're just where the window should be. And I'll explain how I do that anyway. So I've now highlighted all of this, and they are curves. No, they're not curves. These, sorry, I correct myself there. These are not curves. These are vector objects. We need to convert them to curves. So we highlight that, we right hand click, and we convert to curves, or we press Control and return. So we just do that. It takes a couple of seconds. It's now, you can see they're now all converted to curves. We now go up and we select SVG, there's so many options on here, but we basically just select the first option, which is SVG for export. We then move this over without background, so we're only going to export out what we've highlighted. not the whole thing. And that's pretty much it. If you go into the more options, there are an unbelievable amount of options. Okay, so now I don't know whether you can see that, maybe not, but there are an awful lot of options on there. That's interesting. I can't actually see my export settings. That's a shame. I mean, I wonder why. Why can't you see different? Let me turn that off 1 minute and let me put on, I think it's this one. Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go, there we go. So now you can see the options. That's really good. Okay, so you select SVG, you've got all these options, you've even got PSD there. EPS, fantastic. I know you could import EPS into Draw Plus, but I don't think you could ever export out EPS before. TGA was always there. I don't know what HDR and EXR. WMF is a new one, I think. TIFF file, that was always there. GIF, and this does animations as well. JPEG, obviously, and PNGs. I mean, I just use PNGs, but I will now be using SVGs quite a lot for Blender. So you select that, you select just the top option, you want the selection without the backdrop, the background, and then you click on export. So I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to say that's version 2. So now we've got the SVG file. Let me go back to Blender. Let's just get rid of this. Okay, so this is what happens. File. We got blank. This is a blank canvas. You know, nothing special about that. We go File, Import, SVG, Scalable Vector Graphics, and we're going to pick up the file that we just done. You know, literally a minute ago. We import. Okay, it didn't bring in it brought in the windows, but it didn't bring in the rest of it for some reason. Did I not select it correctly? I very well may not have selected it correctly. Because if it's only just brought in... now it's selected it correctly. Yeah, now it's... I probably didn't select the walls. So export, SVG, selection without background, export. Let's see how it's come up with Inkscape logo. Okay, I'm just exporting it back out again. Right, come into Blender. Let's just highlight all of them 1 minute and get rid of them. Now that should have brought that in. SVG, import. There we go, it's done it now. So I obviously didn't select the walls. There we go. It's very small. It's very small, but this is curves. And we were working with vector graphics. So we don't really care because we can scale that up. Shift X. No. Scale. Okay, it seems to be doing it that way. Scale X. Let's just say 10. No, I didn't think it would do it that way. Shift Z. There we go. La 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 la. Okay, so what I want to do is I think that needs to be scaled up a bit more. How big is that? Oh, okay, yeah, that's plenty big enough. huge. We can grab that, Shift Z, and we can move that down there for now. Okay, we can alter that around in a minute. Set origin to mask, that's what I needed to do. And then, yeah, so then all I do then is just selection to cursor, sticks it right in the middle. Oh no, don't want to do that because I just screwed up. Yeah, right, so why would you want to not flatten, you know, all of the everything? It's because everything you bring in as an SVG file is a separate mesh, or a separate curve object, which is absolutely brilliant because it means that all of these objects here are separated, and that is one object. Okay, so that these are all curves, remember. Okay, so now what we can do is right hand click, convert to mesh. Boing. Convert to mesh. Yes, we do. We can say keep the original, that's fine, and boom, there we go, we've now got mesh. So all of those curves are have now been converted to mesh. Yep, it's gone because the curves icon's gone. I like the fact also that it's kept the colour. I don't remember Inkscape ever doing that, but so we can go into edit mode. You can see how it's really clean. It's obviously converted it to tries. We can select everything, extrude on the Z, and boom. How easy is that to build a house in Second Life? Is that easy, or is that easy? There's no windows in there yet. Oh yes, let me show you what we can do with that. There are all the placements where the windows should be. And before I do that, let's just go here because they're going to be all roughly about the same size. Let's just say that I've worked out how high I want my house and all the rest of it, and I get it to scale and whatnot. So I'm going to extrude on the Z, and I want all of the window sizes to be about that. So this window here is obviously a large window because this is a living room, and so is this one here. Now, because I haven't got any windows on the I have got one window on the side. Okay. Let's just select these. The easiest thing to do is bring these up. Did I bring them all up to the right height? No, I didn't. So I'm going to bring all these up, if that's what's required. G, Z. I'm going to bring them up to the right height, which is going to be, let's say that's about there. I can now highlight all these, G, Y, bring them just through the building. Audio still fine? Yes, it is. G on the Y, just make it through the building. GX, just make it go through the building. There we go. What I can do is I can highlight all of those, because these are just where the placements of the windows are going to be. Okay, I'm just going to join those because I don't really, I'm going to add a modifier. Boolean, we want to pick up the Boolean, which is just going to be this. Yes, it has picked it up. We want difference, and we want to apply that Boolean. Now we can delete that. We've now got window holes. I mean, I don't know whether I can actually express it enough at how fast it has been to produce this. You know, I mean, we've just done all the walls and everything. You know, yeah, there's door frames to make and all, but I've already got assets that I've designed for door frames and windows. So all I need to do is to start bringing in my windows and putting them and resizing them and whatever for these gaps here, and obviously the door and such like. So, you know, there you go. I think this is amazing. I really do think this is amazing. You know, we've now got holes and everything ready, and if you think ahead, you can, you know, I could have gone through and designed, like, you know, I could have gone through and actually put the door frames in as well, you know, made all these door frames, and you could have potentially drawn the doors in, and then when you know, made them separate objects, a bit like the window blocks. And then, you know, all you do is you extrude them and start joining them together. I mean, you can really do stuff fast, really fast. Look at the mesh. The mesh has already got the tries and everything already on there. It's really clean, very fast, quite amazing. Okay, let's bring this into Second Life. So if I save that, I'm going to export this out as a collada file. I'm in SL House. I then select SL and open Sim preset, export the collada file. Okay, we're now going to go into Second Life. I'm going to remove... Hello. Why is it not responding? It is responding. Okay, that's fine. Don't know quite what was going on there. I'm going to delete that and delete that. Right. Hopefully you're seeing this. Yeah. So, build, upload, mesh. I saved it in there, and it's under SL House. There's our collada file. Open. The other thing I noticed was that all the normals were around the right way. You know, I mean, I just brought it in thinking, oh, this is not going to work, you know. I'm a bit of a disbeliever, but you can see, look at the model. To be honest with you, I got really excited about this because when I brought it in, I didn't do anything else other than give it a name. So I'm just going to call this SL House. I didn't change anything here at all. Physics, I said we're going to be high. You get these warnings. You get these warnings come up because it says that the tries are too narrow, but all you have to do is click on analyze and it gets rid of that, and there you go, you've got perfect physics. You can see that there's no... Brilliant. I'm not going to simplify it. I haven't got any materials on there, so, or textures, so I'm not going to include that obviously for this particular exercise. And then we're going to calculate weights and fees. So the land impact of this big house here is 8, and it will probably go to 9, but I think I think it's too big. I made the house really big. I resized it in Blender a little bit too big because I'm just really wanted to demonstrate, you know, how this works. So let's upload it. It costs 31 lindens. I mean, believe me, that's nothing for a house. This is the whole first floor of a house, the walls. Let's dump that out there and see. Oh yeah, it's a bit big. But yeah, it is and it isn't, you know. But hey, look at that. That is exactly what we designed in Blender. So going from Affinity Designer into Blender, extruding it, and now we've got a complete working model. I need to convert this. I need to convert this to Prim, and then if we turn on the physics, we can see what the physics looks like. And there we go. We can see we've got perfect physics. Because if we didn't have perfect physics, all of that would be blue. Right, let me walk around to prove a point. Now this is too big. I mean, I've literally just dumped it in, but look how clean this is. Obviously, this would be. Let me see if I can resize it. I've made it way too big, but you can resize it and edit it like any other Prim, but it's obviously this is now mesh. Oh, come on. Right, there we go. Right, so I'm going to resize this so I can bring this right down to a more reasonable size. I can adjust the height of it. Look at this. It's just awesome. It really is. It's just awesome. So yeah, let me walk around to prove that you can make this. There's somebody that I would like to actually show this to if they're actually in world, because I think she would be really quite blown away like I am about this. Okay, here we go. So I can walk through here. I can walk in through the rooms. I can walk around the room, go through all the doors. Obviously I need to resize it for Second Life physics, but Second Life sizing. But yeah, I mean, when you consider that this was a plan that I dumped into a program to create an SVG file, brought it into Blender, extruded it, punched holes in the walls for windows. I mean, I'm doing this to just demonstrate how easy it was to do. None of it's really that accurate. If I was to do this as a house that I would sell in Second Life, then I would take my time thinking about it. But literally, I've spent maybe an hour or two preparing to do this stream to make sure that I could make sure that I could get everything and it worked. And as you've just witnessed, everything has worked. This opens up a whole new world of making things for Second Life, to be honest with you. This is almost as exciting as Sculpties. And I mean, I never really used to like Sculpties, to be honest, because they weren't very accurate, but it was almost as exciting as that, because all you needed to upload was a 10 linden image to make something in Second Life. If you made it correctly and as accurate as you possibly could in Blender, it's kind of that exciting, really. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to share today. I am just kind of blown away, really, with how you get a program that works, and it just got my mind thinking about making all sorts of other things that you could bring in as an SVG file into Blender and extrude and model. I was thinking even something like, I don't know, what was I thinking of? I mean, one of the things I was thinking of earlier was like a, something that you could model. So if you saw an object that you wanted to model, you could bring it in, create the SVG file, going down. One thing I wanted to show, but yeah, I mean, you could, of course, you can change any of this any of these things can be changed. You can use circles, you can use the pen tool, you can fill, you've got, you know, preset objects here that you can use. I mean, you know, you've got everything that you really need in order to produce, you know, a piece of artwork that you could then bring into Blender, extrude it, and then start modeling or cutting or doing whatever you want with it. You know, it's exciting. I like software that not only works but is also exciting to use. The other things that I really like, and of course these we get in Blender anyway, but you've got mirroring options, so you can actually draw things and then mirror. You can draw it in a mirrored fashion. So, you know, you can split this up and only draw a quarter or a half of something, and it will mirror it exactly right on the other side. I mean, it's a hell of a piece of software, and I've only had it a day, and I'm already blown away with it. My mind is racing about all these projects and things that I can do. I mean, I was just thinking, in order to make windows, I could get a picture of a window. I mean, to give you an example, this is going to cut down the amount of time spent modeling for me. Whether it will do it for other people or not, I don't really know. I don't really know. Let me create another layer. So I was just thinking, this is my thought process. Let me grab oh no, I know what I was going to do. So I was going to say, let's just get a picture of a window frame. Okay, let's just get a picture of a window frame. So let's say I like this window frame. Now I think you know maybe where I'm going with this, because I've got to design a texture for the Victorian house, and I've already thought I could save myself an awful lot of time and effort by using an SVG file. I'm going to copy that image, I'm going to paste it in here. Excuse me. I can resize it. Okay, now all I really need to do for this is, in order to model it, I just need to, I'm just going to literally just do this really quickly. So I've got that, Control CV. I only need to draw one box. The rest of it I'm just using the picker tool. So I've highlighted that, Shift, draw it down. It's going to be absolutely parallel. That one's a bit smaller. That is absolutely fine. CV, bring that down. Rotate 90 degrees. I'm pressing Shift all the time to get that accuracy. So here I need to place it. Now I can get it exactly right by snapping it to that, bringing that down and snapping it to that. So the edge is perfect because it goes green. I can now duplicate that, CV, Shift, drag, because it's now going to be exactly parallel to the left hand side, and I just need to move this until I see the snapping and it goes green. That's correct. And now I can go CV again, Shift, drag that over exactly parallel for the middle, and now I get a green line go down the middle as well, so I know it is absolutely dead center to the other parts that I've just designed. So CV again, exactly parallel this side. I can now go Control Shift and bring that in like so. Now I need to zoom in a little bit more. There is actually a hotkey where it will zoom into the object that you've actually you've got highlighted. I'm just going to do this way. So that's about right there. And the tablet I use has got a dial on it, a zoom dial, which I find and I use a lot. We select this object, Control and Shift. No. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. All we need to do is just extrude that up there, or resize it down there. As long as it's touching the things going across, that's not a problem. So highlight that, Control CV, Shift, bring it over this way, line that up there. Control V, because I've already done it once. Let's rotate that 90 degrees. Let's just bring that up there. I don't need, okay, let's just bring that up there. So that's about right. Resize it. Only needs to be overlapping. CV. I'm sorry if anyone's in chat. I can't see my Twitch thing at the moment, I'm afraid. Shift. Let me just do this and then I'll check chat if anyone's saying anything. CV. Shift and drag brings it down exactly parallel. And there we go. Door has been designed. Okay, I mean, we're you know, this is just so unbelievably fast. Right, I'm going to get rid of the picture that's behind it because all I want to do now is highlight everything that's on there. Okay, I'm going to flatten it so it's now one object. I'm now going to convert it. Well, it's already curves. It's already been converted to curves, which is interesting. File, export. SVG X. We want the selection without the background. Just export, and I'm just going to call this house door. Double door, isn't it? So house double door. Okay, we've saved that. Let me just check Twitcheroony to see. No, okay, no one's in chat, that's fine. Okay, so now let's go back to Blender. Right, we're in Blender. Let me just save this and I'll bring this in. Well, actually no, I can just bring this in wherever, it doesn't really matter. Let's just move all this lot out of the way. GX. I resized that way too much. Okay, so we're going to go File. Let's make sure we're not touching anything. File, Import, SVG, Double Door, Import. There's our double door. We're going to scale it up. Doink. What I normally do is set the origin to the mass. Let's convert it to, I'm right hand clicking by the way on stuff if anyone doesn't know. We're going to convert to mesh. I'm going to put the selection to cursor, which then puts it right in the middle. There we go. That's the original one. We don't want that. GX. Let's just get that out of the way. This is mesh, isn't it? Yes, it is. This is mesh. So I'm going to rotate on the X 90 degrees because we're going to bring it up. I mean, I don't know whether anyone really realizes how much time this has saved on just modeling. You know, this has saved a lot of time. I've now got an accurate internal double door. I mean, you know, it's just like, what, you know? So obviously it's a double door. Now if I was just making this for show, I wouldn't bother splitting it, but because if we look at the mesh, yeah, okay, so we're not going to really be able to split it anyway because we've got too many yeah, we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to do that, so that's fine. What we can do, of course, is we can use the knife tool. Let's just bring that down very, I need to bring that down about there. That's fine. So, really what I would do here, let's just say we need to cut that down the middle, okay, because we want it to be an opening door. What I would do is, we've got that, subdivide, so we've got half of it exactly there. Select that edge, subdivide, okay. We've now got 2 vertices, one there and one there, and now I'm going to join. There you go, door split. What more do you want? It's awesome. It is seriously awesome stuff. Absolutely amazing. I just can't get over this. I really cannot get over this. Right, so we select all that, we extrude on the Y, or we can use solidify modifier. It doesn't really matter, but we just, you know, we're going to create a door. There we go. We got a double door. We want to make the frames on the inside. Okay, that might take a little bit more doing, but I mean, all I would do then is just literally go around. Can I pick up? Will it let me pick up that hole? No, it won't. Okay, that's fine. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. This may or may not allow me to select. Select similar. There we go. I'm trying to find it. I'm getting tired now. Select similar and I don't know what you'd face angles, bevel, seam, sharpness, maybe. No, because it would actually select the whole lot. Select similar length. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's done pretty much. Oh no, okay, no, it hasn't. Yeah, I find this selecting actually a little bit. But anyway, anyway, we can now bevel. This is basically what I would probably do on here, just to give it a little bit more. Oh yeah, I think this is probably not the best, but anyway. But it did do it. But you get the general idea. You get the general idea, you know. Mind-blowing. Really quite mind-blowing how easy that was to bring something like that in. And you know, you kind of have to make a judgment call as to, you know, what is it you're going to use this for. You know, if it's going to be for Second Life, look, there is a bevel on that, and it looks really, really good. I screwed up down that end, but anyway. Anyone in chat? No. So, you know, there we go. There we go. Quite amazing. I mean, you know, to be able to do stuff like this really, really quickly, to sort of design something in 2D, and then bring it into Second Life and turn it into a 3D object really, really quickly. you know, where you could get a reference image and bring that in. And I know you can do all this, and I just can't get on with that. I really cannot get on with that in doing it inside Blender. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried, and I just can't really do it. I just don't find it very intuitive to do that. So anyway, I've waffled on enough. I hope you found that interesting. Very interesting program. I will definitely be using this. This will now be my designing program from now on. Kind of mind-blowing, really. Just that one feature to be able to bring in SVGs clean into Blender is just amazing. Just playing around with what the bevel doesn't seem to. Doesn't seem to. It's interesting, isn't it? There's obviously something not right. I think it's because it's already be converted to tries. Might need to use the decimate first. Let me just try. I mean, this is just opening up a whole new world for me, a different workflow that is fast, really, really fast. Okay, let's see what we can do on the decimation. Look at that. Okay, so it's just started to break up. So that brought down the tries quite a lot, actually. Yeah, so it starts to break up beyond. Yeah, so it's about there. So that's 293. Amazing. Let's apply that modifier. Rotation and scale. GZ. Let's bring that up there. I'm intrigued as to. I just love playing around with software that works. If I can get used to this software in a couple of hours this afternoon, then I'm pretty sure anyone can. Right, I'm going to export that out as a Collada file, and we're going to call this, I'm just going to call it house doors, select Second Life, and static sim, boink. Okay, let's go over to Second Life. Let me move that over there 1 minute. Okay, so we're in Second Life. Let's just move this model out of the way. Here's one we made earlier. Right, build, upload, mesh, doors, open. I don't know, is the audio still working? I guess it is. Yep, audio is still working. Okay, so there's our door. There doesn't need to be any physics with this at all, so we're not really bothered. We could actually just give it really, really the lowest, because, oh no, yeah, because if it was a working door, it would need to be, it would actually need to be a physical object. So let's see if we can simplify that. Yes, we can, because it's only a door. Actually, I've just noticed, because of the way I extruded this, I can see that the normals are not round the right way. If we switch on normals, I can see that straight away. And again, this is one of those things, there's very few of the normals around the right way. Let's select, sorry, mesh, come on, mesh, normals, outside, there we go. Right. let me export that out again. Export Collada. We're going to select that, SL and OpenSim static, and export. Now if we import this in, mesh model, doors, excuse me. Let's have a look now. You just, yeah, there we go. The normals are around the right way now. Let's do physics. That's why the physics didn't work. Let's do low. No, that's way too low. Let's do medium. Analyze. Okay, medium would work. We've only got like a little tiny bit down the bottom there that's not. That's fine. Simplify. Yeah, okay, that lowers the land impact. Let's call this SL house door. Let's see what that is. Okay, so this is going to be one prim, one land impact at 11. Okay, doors. Boom. There we go. To do that for Second Life just opens up a whole new world of building. Look at the physics. Yeah, the physics are fine, so I'm not going to be able to walk through that. Convert it to prim. One prim. That's it. One land impact. Let's resize that down to kind of door size, and there we go. The physics on there are perfect because I can't walk through it. No, I didn't split this, and I mean, as it is, I could make this door. If it was like one great big door, you know, it would work. It would open and close and such like. Obviously, there's no glass or anything, but I mean, I was just literally demonstrating. Look, there is a bevel on there as well, so that would work. I screwed up this side, but yeah, that's one land impact. One. Oh, exciting. I think you're going to be seeing a few more videos from me making all sorts of stuff because, you know, this just opens up a whole new thing for me, workflow wise. I think that door was supposed to go there. If I remember rightly, it was, yeah, that was supposed to be the door to like an outside. So there we go. So obviously I would need to build, you know, but you know, filling this in to put the door frame in and all of that kind of thing. I mean, this is just cut down a huge amount of time. It really has, because I would do this part in Blender, so you know, I would have added mesh across here and added window frames and glass and such like, you know. But I think for just purely demonstration purposes, hopefully people can see how easy this is. Second Life is jerky because I've got Blender open, Affinity Designer open, Second Life open, and I'm streaming at the same time, so obviously I would say the processes be interesting to see what the performance on my computer is doing. Oh, okay, my memory is fine because I've got a huge amount of memory, but my CPU is running at about 80%, so I'm not surprised because I've got 3 massive programs and I'm streaming. So wow. Okay, thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you again probably tomorrow, and I will, unless I get hooked on Affinity Designer and doing other things, I will probably be working on the Victorian house tomorrow because I really want to get the texturing done. So, yeah. Thank you. See you again. Bye now.